To be or not to be? Okay, I'm not Shakespeare up in here. I'm not going to try to fake it. But what I will say and ask you, is it time for the New York Jets to move on from Zach Wilson? I am one that has actually historically loved Zach Wilson. I thought he showed a lot of promise coming up at a BYU, but hasn't been great this year. It really hasn't been great. The preseason injury, everybody was kind of, they were definitely a little bit apprehensive to begin the season out with anyway. But to see how this man has, I don't want to say held back this team, because I understand that it's a team game in all senses of the word, but overall you are in a place where you just aren't playing well. Like, you complete basically 41% of your passes for 77 yards. Like, it's not great. It is absolutely not great. 4 touchdown passes and 5 interceptions for the second year, man. And quite honestly, I understand that you have an offense that really, it's not built right now to, especially with the quarterback, to throw for 5,000 yards a season. I understand all that. It's got a great running game, a much improved offensive line. In fact, I know as a Vikings fan, I would love to have this offensive line, but it is what it is. You got a vastly improved offensive line. You've got a defense that is playing lights out, and at the center of it all, you got a quarterback that's not getting the job done. But I think you got to look on both sides of the spectrum here, both sides of the story. So on one end, you've got Zach Wilson, who yes hasn't gotten the job done, but at the same time, is Joe Flacco that guy that you want to put in there and lead this team? I don't know, because either way, I still think that this team is another year behind, from actually competing in, an NFC title game. Like, we all remember what happened to the Vikings in 2009 when Brett Favre came over to them. Like, they legitimately needed a quarterback. Their defense was good. They had Adrian Peterson. Their offensive line was good enough to get the job done. And then all of a sudden they got Brett Favre, and it was a magical ride that year. And I think you're kind of seeing the same thing with the Jets. I'm not saying that Brett Favre needs to come out of retirement again, but what I am saying is that I do think that there needs to be a serious push for a quality quarterback. Lamar Jackson? That'd be a lot of fun. I think there needs to be a serious push for a quality quarterback in the offseason. I don't care at this point, because Zach Wilson, we've seen it. Again, I'm going to go back to my experience as a Vikings fan. We saw what it was like with Christian Ponder. We all wanted to hold out hope. We all wanted to come in and say, is this something that, we can deal with it? Can we still win with this? And we saw it with the 2012 Minnesota Vikings when they ended up, Adrian Peterson also ran for over 2,000 yards that season. But overall, you really started to question, like, can the Vikings go beyond of what Christian Ponder can bring them? Like, can they win without a franchise quarterback? And it's just not going to happen in today's NFL. But, you got a team here in the Jets that, honestly, they've done some big-time stuff. You talk about beating the Packers. You talk about, coming out and really taking it to the Bills there and finding a way to get that one done. This team is so close in so many different regards. You've got a lot of talent, like I said. Robert Saleh, excuse me. Is it Saleh? Whatever. Rob S. has gotten the job done this year. He really has, if you ask me, because this defense is playing lights out. Quinnen Williams is a stud. You've got a really good, honestly, a defense that's carrying this team, and an offensive line that's ready to go, and a rushing attack that once Breece Hall comes back next year, I think a lot of people will be hard-pressed to stop the Jets. But the question on everyone's mind, is it time to move on from Zach Wilson for the New York Jets? I think you're getting there. Again, I think you have to look inward. You have to look at a serious leader. And I know they said they're not committed to him, but moving forward, they need to take a serious long look at getting a quality quarterback in there. Not necessarily a quarterback that costs $50 million a year, but I think that if you want to take a serious step forward as a franchise, you got to get a guy in there that can lead them, that will go to town for every one of his guys, and the guys will do the same thing for him. So in terms of answering the question, if it's time to move on, I think it has to be considered, and I think that they have to take a serious look at doing whatever they can to take this team to the next level. But let us know what you guys think, and make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We greatly appreciate all the support that we've gotten and continue to get. You guys are all truthfully awesome. We love every single one of you. Down in the description below, you'll find all of our social media platforms, so give us a like and a follow there. Also, remember to give us a listen and sub on iTunes. And finally, if you have anything else you'd like us to cover, send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com, or put in the comment section down below, and we would love to cover it. But let us know what you guys think. Is it time to move on from Zach Wilson for the New York Jets?